If one of the largest stars in our galaxy quietly replaced the sun tonight, you wouldn't watch the Earth burn. Our entire inner solar system would already be sitting inside its outer atmosphere. 5 of those stars exist. We're going to meet them, ranked by size, ending with the one that broke the scale astronomers were using to measure it. Every star you can see looks roughly the same. Distant, small, scattered across the dark like someone spilled salt on black fabric. Your brain registers them as more or less equal. Just light, just distance, just space doing what space does. That instinct is completely wrong. Some of those points of light are so impossibly large that if one of them quietly replaced our sun tonight, you wouldn't watch the Earth burn. You wouldn't see a shockwave. You wouldn't have time to register anything at all, because our entire inner solar system would already be sitting inside the outer atmosphere of a star too big to comprehend. Today, we're meeting 5 of them. The largest stars ever identified in our galaxy, ranked by size, ending with the one that broke the scale astronomers were using to measure it. But first, we need to understand something. Because the word star does a lot of heavy lifting, and most people don't know what's actually behind it. A star isn't a thing sitting peacefully in space. It's a standoff. Gravity is constantly trying to crush the entire object inward, pulling every atom toward the center with relentless, compounding force. And the only reason that doesn't happen is because the core is fighting back. Under pressure that defies intuition, hydrogen nuclei are being slammed together hard enough to fuse, releasing enormous energy that pushes outward against the collapse. Neither side wins. That balance, gravity pulling in, fusion pushing out, is called hydrostatic equilibrium. The moment it breaks, the star either tears itself apart or implodes. Our sun burns through roughly 600 million tons of hydrogen every second. It has been doing that for nearly 5 billion years. When astronomers measure stellar size, they use the sun as a baseline, the solar radius, about 696,000 kilometers. That unit sounds manageable until you realize the stars on this list don't sit at 10 times that figure, or 50. Some sit at over 2,000. Cephei. The first star on this list has been sitting in plain view for centuries. Cephei lives in the constellation Cephei. On a clear night with good conditions, you can find it without any equipment, a faint reddish smear against the dark. William Herschel noticed that color in the 1800s and named it the Garnet Star. The name stuck because the color is that distinctive. That red isn't decoration, it's diagnostic. Cephei runs cold for a star, around 3,500 Kelvin at its surface. And that lower temperature shifts its light toward the deep crimson end of the spectrum. Current estimates place its radius between 1,000 and 1,500 solar radii, center it in our solar system, and the inner planets don't survive. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, all of them swallowed without the star noticing. Its outer edge pushes toward the asteroid belt. The star also radiates around 350,000 times the energy output of our sun, and that intensity is working against it. Radiation pressure from the core is physically ejecting the star's own outer layers into space. Cephei is slowly consuming itself. At some point, within the next few 100,000 years, which is a blink in cosmic time, it will go supernova. At 2,400 to 2,800 light-years away, we'll see it happen. A star this size collapsing in real time, with enough warning to point every telescope on Earth at it. Whether anything beyond Earth would feel it is another question entirely. And Cephei is the smallest star on this list. Antares. The second star needs no introduction. Antares has been one of the most observed objects in the night sky for thousands of years, anchoring the heart of Scorpius with a red-orange glow that ancient astronomers compared directly to Mars. The name translates roughly as the rival of Mars. They weren't wrong about the color. They had no idea what they were actually looking at. At around 550 light-years away, Antares is close enough that we can study it in real detail. Its radius sits near 700 solar radii, somewhat smaller than Cephei, but its presence in the sky is overwhelming. Mass estimated at 12 times our Sun. Luminosity around 100,000 times solar. It also has company. A companion star, Antares B, orbits at roughly 550 astronomical units, a hot blue star that would be remarkable in any other context. Against Antares, it looks like a footnote. Astronomers have managed to observe it directly during certain alignments, catching it just visible at the edge of its massive partner's glare. The contrast makes the scale of Antares suddenly concrete. The star is deteriorating. Stellar winds are continuously stripping material from its outer layers, building an expanding nebula of ejected gas around the system. When Antares finally goes, the explosion will be visible in daylight from Earth, possibly bright enough to compete with the full moon. The timing is unknown. It could happen within a human lifetime, or 100 millennia from now. Space does not keep a calendar. VY Canis Majoris. VY Canis Majoris is roughly 1,420 solar radii across. Drop it where our Sun sits, and its surface extends past Jupiter's orbit. VY Canis Majoris held the title of largest known star for years, and even after losing it, the object remains extraordinary. It sits about 3,900 light-years away in Canis Major, a red hypergiant that early measurements consistently got wrong. Inaccurate distance estimates produced inaccurate size figures, and it took years of refined observation to establish the real scale. The revised figure, approximately 1,420 solar radii. At that size, the star's surface extends past Jupiter's orbit. The volume involved stops being intuitive, but the size isn't the strangest part. VY Canis Majoris is erupting. Material is being blasted off its surface continuously, but not in the uniform shell that most dying stars produce. Instead, it's generating a chaotic, asymmetric cloud, irregular and lumpy, different densities in different directions, with jets firing outward from specific points on the photosphere. The surrounding nebula looks less like a natural byproduct and more like wreckage. The behavior was unusual enough that astronomers briefly considered whether they were measuring two stars, not one, a binary pair close enough together that their combined output was being read as a single object. That idea has been largely ruled out, but it gives you a sense of how far outside normal parameters this star sits. It is almost certainly approaching the end of its life. Whatever comes next will be spectacular. What knocked it from the top spot, though, was something even harder to explain. VY Scuti. For the better part of a decade, VY Scuti was the answer to one specific question. It sat deep in the constellation Scutum, roughly 9,000 light-years out, and its estimated radius of around 1,700 solar radii made it the largest known star in the observable universe. Every comparison graphic, every scale video, every classroom explainer used it as the ceiling, a diameter stretching past 2.3 billion kilometers. Placed at our Sun's position, its surface would extend somewhere between Jupiter and Saturn. Light circles the Sun in about 14.5 seconds. Circling VY Scuti takes over 7 hours. The problem was location. VY Scuti sits in what astronomers call the zone of avoidance, a region where the density of the galactic core behind it makes precise measurement significantly harder. The star also pulses, expanding and contracting on roughly a 2-year cycle, which means its size isn't even a fixed number, it's a range. In 2018, the Gaia spacecraft produced new parallax data suggesting the star sits closer to 5,000 light-years away, not 9,000. Closer distance, smaller apparent size. The revised radius landed around 755 solar radii, still enormous, but nowhere near record-breaking. The astronomical community hasn't fully closed the debate on those measurements because parallax loses accuracy at extreme distances, and 5,000 light-years is near the edge of Gaia's reliable range. What isn't debated is what was already waiting in the data. Stephenson 2-18. Everything before this section was context. Stephenson 218 sits roughly 19,000 light-years away in Scutum, same general region as UY Scuti, inside a dense open cluster called RSGC2, which already contains dozens of red supergiants. In that company, most stars would blend in. Stephenson 218 does the opposite. When astronomers first cataloged it, the brightness reading felt wrong. It was so far above every neighboring star in the cluster that the leading explanation was contamination, a foreground object at a closer distance, accidentally appearing to belong. Later observations established it likely sits at a comparable distance to the rest of the group, just in an outlying subgroup. Once the distance was confirmed, the radius calculation followed, 2,149 solar radii. The Sun's radius is 696,000 kilometers. Stephenson 2-18's radius is approximately 1.5 billion kilometers. Replace the Sun with this star, and Earth is gone, Mars is gone, Jupiter is gone. You would travel all the way to Saturn's orbit, the planet that takes 29 years to complete one loop around the Sun, before your position would be outside the star's surface. Its volume is roughly 10 billion times the Sun's. Its luminosity sits around 440,000 times solar, above what theoretical models previously set as the upper boundary for stellar brightness. And current understanding suggests it may not have finished growing. As it processes heavier elements in the core, it could expand further before finally collapsing into a supernova energetic enough to briefly outshine entire neighboring galaxies. Stephenson 218 isn't just past the record, it's past the predicted limit of where the record could be, and we almost didn't find it. Buried 19,000 light-years away, sitting inside a crowded cluster, partially obscured, it was easy to overlook. In a galaxy containing around 400 billion stars, it waited. That's what stays with you. Not just the size, the fact that something this large was hidden in plain sight for so long. Our instruments are improving constantly. Every time they do, something larger and stranger turns up. Stephenson 218 is the biggest star we've found. There is no reason to think it's the biggest star there is. We just haven't found the next one yet. If this shifted how you think about scale, leave a comment. I read every one. Subscribe if you want to keep going. There's no shortage of universe left to cover. See you in the next one.